You will be amazed. Because when this Kundalini rises, she touches that all-pervading vital power, and you are blessed with all your physical, mental, emotional upliftment, not only that, but complete nourishment. Because this little point was left out, we are suffering. Ecological problems can be solved very easily if you get into your balances. For example, we use machines or anything, we go to extremes. We have no balance. Actually, the mental projection is a linear movement. But if it has no support with the reality, it recoils back on you. Even science. Science, of course, we must say that science has done a lot of harm in a way because it has produced atomic bombs and all that. But also the science also tells us this is wrong. We are going too far with it. We should stop. But we don't pay any heed to it. This is our own mistake, that we have to understand that there is a kind of a balance which is needed in our own lives, in our own temperament, in our own being. But supposing if you force yourself, you cannot do it. If you tell yourself, no, you must be balanced. You should have balanced food. You should have balanced life. You cannot. Because as at the human awareness, you cannot. But once you become the spirit, it automatically works out. Now in this diagram you'll see there are 3 channels which are shown, and also there are centers which are shown here, which are 7 in number. Now the centers are something like this, I would say, and this is the left and the right side, 2 sympathetic nervous system. And in the center is the parasympathetic nervous system. Doctors call it as an autonomous nervous system. But who is the auto? And who controls the auto? And how to reach the auto is the problem. Supposing you have a tree, very much grown, you must know it has to have roots down below. And if it has not got those roots developed, it's about to fall off. So this is the knowledge of the roots. And as scientists, you must have an open mind about it, absolutely an open mind. Take it as a hypothesis. And if it works, as honest people, you have to accept. For example, my husband always said that you are a saint. I know, you are an awliya. He used to say that. But I can't believe you can make anybody like you. It's a different thing. It's a different category. But these days, these categories are born. So many are seeking the truth. Never in the history of spirituality you had so many people who were seeking the truth. They are misled, I know, and they are used, exploited, agreed. But there are seekers. So I call it a blossom time. This is a special time when this has to happen. But people have to have seriousness about it. I mean, in the society that I move, as you know, there's another society also I have, in which I find people talking like this. This guru is very good, is expensive but very good. And the one gave some bargains and another has lowered some prices. If you are going to judge your guru by how much money he takes or how much you can save, then it's such a money-oriented nonsense. It cannot be anything divine. Divine doesn't understand money. Never. So once you understand this simple point, you will be able to reach the truth very easily, that if you have to seek the truth, it's a living process within you which has to work it out. And when it works out, then only you can feel that beautiful surrounding, all-pervading power about which all the religions have described. Now, if you go even to religions which have only talked of the formless God, or some who have talked of the form, there's one common point they have said. Seek the eternal. All of them have said, seek the eternal and use the temporary with all understanding in its own limitations. But you can't do it. That's the trouble. We just can't keep ourselves into those limitations. If we take to drinking, we become drunkards. If we take to work, we become workaholics. If we take to anything, we go to extremes. Only thing that really gives us the complete balance is the spirit. Now how? Because spirit is like the light. Supposing you are holding a snake in your hand, and if somebody tells you you are holding a snake in your hand and it's all darkness, then one may say, no, it's not, it's a rope. How can you argue? Till the snake bites the person, he is not going to leave the snake. Best thing is to put on the light. And in that light, he can see and he can throw away the snake. This is how today's Sahaja Yoga is working. Sahaja means born with you is the right to be united with this divine power. Yoga doesn't mean standing on your heads, or it doesn't mean breaking your knees. It doesn't mean that at all. If you see Patanjali Yoga, then in the Patanjali, he has written it into 8 ashtangas, into 8 folds, out of which Yamaniyama is a wee bit, out of which the exercise is even much a smaller percentage. Also, it is said very clearly that when your Kundalini rises, then you must do this center, or this center is being augmented, constricted, then you have to use a particular type of an exercise. Patanjali Yoga is such a big book. But those people who just make it a physical one do not understand that we are not only physical beings. If we were only physical being, I get many wrestlers coming to me to say that, Mother, we have no peace. Will you give us peace? We are much more than physical being. We are physical being, we are mental being, we are emotional being, above all we are spiritual being. And that spiritual being has to manifest. That manifestation has to take place in our awareness. People talk of spirituality here and there. It's a serious thing one has to understand. If United Nations has to express itself in reality, then I would say the people of United Nations must get their self-realization first. And then they can understand what they are, how great they are, how glorious they are, so many ways and so many powers they have which they can use. And this is the power of love, which we have never used. Actually, when you read about United Nations, you think it is conceived as a thing that works on the power of love. But where is that power of love? That is this all-pervading power. You become extremely dynamic, extremely active, extremely sensible, wise, but above all, extremely compassionate.